right, folks, back again. This time I want to shed some light on triangulation. This is another staple for narcissists to engage in, is the triangulation. And this happens frequently as well. It's a go-to tactic that they like to use to involve more than one party in a situation that deals with part of their manipulation and control, right? It's all about dominance. Because remember, narcissists have this fantasy about this being all powerful, right? So they want to dominate a situation. And so the term of it, it can sound complex, but just in reality, it happens every day. It's more subtle than anything. But a lot of times we fail to recognize it because we don't really understand it. We hear the word, but we just, triangulate, but you're not really understanding it. Let's shed some light at least today on it and talk about it. So basically, when you're with a narcissist and a narcissist is triangulating you, this happens when a narcissist either manipulates the communication and the relationships between two or more people to create tension. That's what it's all about. Creating tension, confusion, and competition, ultimately. That's what they're trying to do, right? And the goal for the narcissist is to maintain their control while keeping others emotionally off balance in that situation, right? So there has to be someone that they're pitting or putting you against. And that person is none the wise either that they're being used, right, to create this tension to the target. Neither one of you will realize that you're being used. It's a way where they get to sit back and watch how the people who have been manipulated into the triangulation reacts in regards to them and what they want to see out of it. Again, in some situations, like if it's a friendship, the narcissist might tell you another friend has been gossiping about you or criticizing you to others behind your back, right? Now, this is one of the main staples narcissists. If you just pay attention, folks, the stuff's so easy to spot. People still miss these behaviors. It baffles me. Simple behaviors that you'll see. Divide and conquer tactics. Narcissistic. To the fullest. Trying to get people to collaborate on their side. Narcissistic. To the fullest. But they want to create mistrust and division between you and the third party, forcing you to rely more on them being the narcissist as the source of information to validate what is true, what's not, and what isn't. Things to look out for. I call these people relay messengers. They're always relaying a message from someone or something in a gossipy way. That's why I said gossipers. Gossipers, big time narcissists. Or narcissistic. They may not be fully narcissists, but they have some narcissistic tendencies. Because that relaying a message is to stir up the conflict in the first place. And they thrive on being the center of the attention in these groups, in these dynamics. Like they get to sit back and watch it all play out because both while you're saying something to them, trust and believe when they go back, they're not taking your side. If it's a friendship type of situation, they are saying it from a way like they couldn't believe that you were saying that, and then they get the information back from them, but when they come back to you, they're like, ooh, they was really going in and talking about you a certain way, right? But they make it seem like their hands were all clean with it. So it's about pitting friends against each other, creating unnecessary competition and jealousy. Now, when we look at it from an intimate partner situation, relationship, for those who call it that for being with narcissists, that narcissist person that you're with may compare you unfavorably to things that their ex used to do. This is a common one. There's things that, their ex used to do. They're always bringing it up. Or other people who they know, or they'll try to name drop like someone who they would feel is in a higher position than you, to kind of really home in on being more authoritative or being more credible than what you're saying, because they know someone that's in an upper position, right? It's a staple. They'll bring in a person, into y'all's relationship dynamic by flirting or discussing things about them excessively and inappropriately. We'll be talking about someone who's an ex and maybe things they used to do and how they had so much fun, and you're thinking like, well, wait a minute, why are you not still with them then? Right? This is triangulation, folks. Right? And the tactic with this is to keep you feeling insecure and seeking their approval while ensuring you view the third party as an essential threat, which is supposed to make you modify your behavior. Remember the competition aspect. They want you to compete with the other party that they're triangulating you with. So it's to get you to work. And they may not, and here's the thing too. This ex could have been dog shit to them. But they're going to paint the picture in a different way, because remember, they're playing psychological mind games with you. So it gets you to put the most effort out against something that doesn't necessarily even exist. Because they can create a whole character too to triangulate you with, as they often do. The major things to look for, always look for like frequent references and name dropping to how other people's qualities or achievements were and how better it was in these situations. But this is all to provoke jealousy, because jealousy is, and then it also creates a certain level of insecurity that they want to trigger into you too, to make you feel like, well, dang, they had better then, and maybe they might leave me. But that's not going to happen. This is all crafty manipulation at its finest. They also, a lot of big reason why they do this too is to create that unnecessary competition, is for affection and attention onto them. Because like I said, it gets you to start putting out more. Like, it makes you think you got to do or compete to give them what they've always been getting, what they want you to believe that they've always been getting, but they haven't. I can guarantee it. If anybody's using these tactics, they haven't got it. Because there's no way they would even settle. They would have even settled with you in the first place if you weren't even nowhere near close to delivering what they're used to saying it was a high level output. They wouldn't even be with you in the first place. So it's the first sign of catching that and realizing that you're being triangulated. One of the other things too they like to do is keep you uncertain about your position or place in life, in their life with them. Like you might say, where do we stand? And they're still making like, I don't know. It's still things that I'm uncertain about and this and that. You're being manipulated, folks. That's triangulation. I'm uncertain because I'm used to doing this and having this. I'm used to going to Fleming's every Friday, Roof Crest, but my favorite is Fleming's. Never step foot in Fleming's. Not a day in their life. They're used to having, their clothes folded and set. I've heard it from so many different ways. They're used to, the ex that they used to have used to get them a bag every month. If you're a guy, if you're a woman, you might hear something different on the other side. They're used to having this treatment from a certain woman or whatnot. It's all triangulation. And it's an effective tactic of manipulation too, because they put you in a position where you can't readily prove it. Some of these narcissists bought themselves this stuff that they're claiming someone else bought them or provided for them. So you have to be aware that that's how that dynamic plays out. And if you buy into it and you start thinking that you have to live up to that standard, oh, you're falling right for the trap. You're falling hook, line, and sinker. And they're sitting back just laughing because none of this shit is true. It's not true. But nonetheless, they've gained a certain level of control over you and how they want you to operate and work with them. Another one is in family settings. Some of you may have seen this with the comparison of siblings. Comparing a sibling that's better than the other, or deliberately trying to treat the other sibling a certain way that's better to make you start to react and try to compete. The main thing that, if you just take it like this, folks, that triangulation produces is competition. And it's usually false competition. So that you can put out more and give them more than, listen to this, more than they're even deserving of. Because they don't even deserve that in the first place, and they know it. That's why people triangulate: control and to get more than they're deserving of. All right. And the long-term thing when it happens in families is dysfunction, of course. Distrusting. You'll have a hard time distrusting people. And you'll spend a lot of time prioritizing the narcissist's approval. And again, why is this bad? Because it spills into when you get into other type of situations, whether it's friendships or intimate partner relationships. All of these things that you were subjected to and happened with you, it's going to show up elsewhere. So in the family setting, you got to look for favoritism of one sibling over the other. A lot of things you see too in the family setting with triangulation that they'll create is when you see a family that's about keeping secrets, encouraging secret keeping to create exclusivity with one family member over the other. A lot of times they use guilt to enforce or reinforce loyalty. You know, that's a major one when you see triangulation in the family setting. Also, got to mention the work setting. Got to mention the workplace. It happens there too because naturally some work settings have a little bit of competitiveness to them. Especially ones like call centers and stuff like that, sales, maybe car dealerships. And the narcissistic coworker or your boss, might tell you one thing about a colleague and then tells the other colleague something different to create friction and mistrust between the two of you. This is why a lot of times when people aren't getting along and you start seeing a sudden change, if you go around people and then all of a sudden those people are changed towards you, their whole demeanor and attitude, it's because there's stuff that's being said about you behind your back without your presence being around. And in a work setting, it doesn't only like disrupt like teamwork, but it also ensures that the narcissist gets to remain the main figure in the workplace, right? Again, playing the role as a messenger. Always be on the lookout as somebody coming to you as a messenger of information, like they're passing something on. Like, if it's not coming from the source, be leery of that. A lot of people in the workplace, they like that workplace drama. And you got this type, they act like they're the ones with the full tea, the full story. They like that. Another thing is taking credit for other people's work that they know they didn't do. And then still showing division amongst their colleagues. This is that toxic triangulation in work settings. So the biggest thing, folks, y'all gotta understand, narcissists thrive on control, validation, and attention, man. They just do. And whether it's good attention or bad attention, they like to create conflict and competition amongst others with triangulation. The power trip that they get from that is keeping people divided. Right? Let me ask you this question. Why do you think keeping people divided is such an important factor with narcissists in the role of triangulation? Because oftentimes it ensures that nobody's going to unite against them because everybody's separated, everybody's divided. Everybody's creating hatred or having a bad dislikement to the other party that's being triangulated, while the narcissist gets to play good cop, bad cop, gets to sit in the middle and just say, I didn't have nothing to do with this. I'm just telling you what it is, when they're the main ones behind the scene, creating the issue. Right? Again, whether it's positive or negative, the chaos that they create keeps the spotlight on them. Because now you're going to them, well, what said this and what, and they're controlling you. Right? Another big thing, as I said, they like power. And while watching others compete and struggle to reinforce, it basically reinforces their sense of superiority over everybody else, because they're looking at it like, look how I got everybody in an uproar and they can't even figure it out. So basically, and I did this video, somebody requested and asked for it, so I thought I'd share some light more in depth about it. But ways you can protect yourself from all of this triangulation, man. Recognize the patterns. That's the first thing in defending yourself against narcissistic type of stuff. The patterns of behavior and tactics don't change. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it is a duck. So pay attention to whether a person frequently stirs the pot or likes to stir up drama to cause discord. That's definitely out the narcissistic playbook, right? Notice, pay attention to your feelings and how you feel after conversations with them. If you feel confused or baffled, or you feel defensive or doubtful of other people after you talk to them, because anybody that's about peace and that doesn't have that in them, they don't want to sow discord. They don't want to have people going at and knowing that they're the main culprit behind all of this division. Some of these narcissists, they've been doing it so long. Again, some of this is it's just, they're not even thinking. This is just who they are. And they've been doing it to where it's just automatic. This is just the way that they operate. So wherever they go, they can't resist to triangulate people. Right? Verify the information too. Refuse to take the word of them unless you get proof. Go directly to the source, as I always say. That's the best way to avoid misunderstanding whatever is being sent to confuse you and feeding into the drama. Again, we go back to boundary setting. You got to be able to let them know that you don't want to participate or gossip or any discussions or anything like that behind other people's backs. You're setting the tone that you're not a fool and that you're not easily manipulated. All right? Narcissists in the beginning, they ask a lot of questions to get to know you and know about you. Limit how much personal information you give to these individuals, because what you share with them will be used to reduce and manipulate you in every way. Right? Always, always, always make sure that if you can, that you get the other party that they're trying to triangulate you with to speak on it. The biggest thing is transparency. You have to demand it. And then I always say, man, that just know when to walk away. You got to know when to walk away. If you see triangulation becoming consistent and you're able to catch the patterns, you know you're dealing with a toxic individual. And more than likely, they're a narcissist. But again, triangulation is one of the most subtle but most effective tools that they use to manipulate people. So you have to understand that. You have to know how to identify it, how to recognize it properly. And you have to know what to do when you come across it. Anyway, that concludes this message. If you like, please consider to subscribe and consider to hit the like button as well. If you want a one-on-one consultation, don't hesitate. Just go in the description box, shoot me an email, and I'll get you information on how to set up your one-on-one personal consultation. Till next time, have a good one. Talk soon.